German police searched Deutsche Bank offices in Frankfurt and Berlin on Wednesday. That's according to local prosecutors, who said it was part of an investigation into money laundering. They added the police are looking at as yet unidentified individuals and bank employees. Sources told Reuters the case involved transactions between 2013 and 2018, but
the mandate given by the First Presidency and the presiding bishopric is to only focus on financial growth. EPA employees are told that the money will be used after the second coming of Jesus Christ or during Armageddon right before he would come again.
In the Lord's commandment to the people of this day, tithing is 1/10 of all their interest annually, which is understood to mean income. The First Presidency has said no one is justified in making any other statement than this. We pay tithing, as the Savior taught, by bringing the tithes into the storehouse. We do this by paying our tithing to our bishop or branch president. We do not pay tithing by contributing to our favorite charities. The contributions we should make to charities come from our own funds, not from the tithes we are commanded to pay to the storehouse of the Lord. The Lord has directed by revelation that the expenditure of his tithes will be directed by his servants, the First Presidency, the Quorum of the 12, and the presiding bishopric.
Senator Brown, I'd like to.
Senator Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A dozen years ago, when you did the tax holiday here, all the corporations had all this money, and of course they were going to be eager to give it out to work. Well, actually, they didn't give it out to workers. They did stock buybacks. They did executive compensation. They paid out in dividends. Right. Then somebody cited Britain. Great Britain has done a series of tax cuts. Okay. And their wages were flat too. So this is really wishful thinking. But I do know that the TV ads that are going to be run against the 5 most important senators on this committee, the TV ads that the independent groups will run, will of course say Senator McCaskill and Senator Casey and Senator Stabenow and Senator Nelson are voting against a $4,000 raise that this tax cut is going to bestow on them. We know it's coming. We know you'll have way more money to promote that than we will have to defend it, but that's why the Wyden Amendment is so important. And I just think it would be nice just tonight, before we go home, to just acknowledge, well, this tax cut really is not for the middle class, it's for the rich. And that whole thing about higher wages, well, it's a good selling point, but we know companies don't just give away higher wages. They just don't give away higher wages just because they have more money. Corporations are sitting on a lot of money now. They're sitting on a lot of profits now. I don't see wages going up. So just spare us the bank shots, spare us the sarcasm and the satire, and
I'm going to spare it, but I'm going to just say to you that I come from the poor people, and I've been here working my whole stinking career for people who don't have a chance. And I really resent anybody saying that I'm just doing this for the rich. Give me a break. I think you guys overplay that all the time, and it gets old. And frankly, you ought to quit it.
Mr. Chairman, the public believes it.
I'm not through.
Okay.
I get kind of sick and tired of it. True, it's a nice political play.
Well, Mr. Chairman,
it's not true.
With all due respect, I get sick and tired of the richest people
Regular
in
order,
this country
Mr. Chairman.
getting richer and
Regular
richer
order.
and richer.
Order.
We do a tax
Regular order.
middle class
Wait a minute.
Regular order.
and over and over again.
Wait just
How
a
many
second.
times do we do this before we learn this, Mr. Chairman?
Listen, I've honored you by allowing you to spout off here. And what you said was not right. That's all I'm saying. I come from the lower middle class originally. We didn't have anything. So don't spew that stuff on me. I get a little tired of that crap. And let me just say something. If we work together, we could pull this country out of every mess it's in. And we could do a lot of the things that you're talking about, too. And I think I've got a reputation of having worked together with Democrats.
Let's start with Chip.
Not starting with Chip. I did it. I've done it for years. I've got more bills.
Start with Chip
I
today.
got more bills passed than everybody on this committee put together. And they've been passed for the benefit of people in this country. Now, all I can say is I like you personally very much, but I'm telling you, this bullcrap that you guys throw out here really gets old after a while. To do it right at the end of this was just not right.
And a major city yet to be determined in Russia.
Through federal filings, we confirmed the numbers on 12 funds, each with more than one web domain owned by the LDS Church. The funds control about $31.9 billion in investments.
The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and its investment arm will pay a fine totaling $5 million for failing to disclose investment holdings.
Travis Wayne Goodsell. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, in accordance with Section 119, collects tithing from every single member of the church. It is not a donation, it is the law. We are told by President Hinckley and others that it is a protection racket, that we pay tithing to protect us from Armageddon, the second coming burning of Jesus Christ. And so we found out from the whistleblower in 2019 that the Church of Jesus Christ only spends about $5 to $6 billion a year on everything that is in operation. That's how much it costs the current church. But that the church is hoarding tithing money. Nelson would come out and confess, yeah, so we're adhering to the parable of the talents about the second coming Armageddon in Matthew chapter 25. That we do this with every single source of income, not just tithing. Same pattern that is used for tithing is used for each separate source of income. And so if you're familiar with the SEC violation for just tithing, and Nelson confessed that they do the same pattern that they got busted by the SEC for, with every separate single source of income. And that they're doing it for Armageddon, for the latter days, for the second coming. As the whistleblower himself also said that that's what he was told. They were hoarding this money for Jesus, to be used for and by Jesus, to save it all up. Here you go, Jesus. We have been faithful. Here you go. Even though the $300 billion in just tithing is far more than is necessary. Multiple times to pay for the church. Not to mention collecting all the other assets together. We've got multi-trillions. The church invests in Deutsche Bank. In the news yesterday, Deutsche Bank is again being investigated for its harboring of terrorist criminal groups that launder money through Deutsche Bank. And the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is among those with accounts there, as well as invests in it. And so I don't know if they're finally investigating the church, as they ought to, knowing that the church is sitting on a powder keg of crime for Section 119. I did a list of all of the sex crimes for Idaho Chick and her comment yesterday on my video about the church as a rape culture, and then would go on to email her a whole long list more. The never-ending rapes. But I did this with tithing back before Idaho Chick joined me. There are numerous financial crimes packed in just these 7 verses. And it's in one of these boxes. Had a notebook of YouTube references. Instead of a new pile piling up on top of the shelf here. So, yes, I do the research. And Mormons who don't do the research on the church, who just go through the motions, are acting like knee whores, or their ancestors, the Danites, in threatening me to shut up about this church. It is manifested whenever a Mormon puts a thumbs down on my videos. You are demonstrating that you are threatening me to shut the hell up. Nobody sees your thumbs down but me. You've been on YouTube long enough to know that this change was made years ago. Nobody sees your thumbs down. And instead of just going, okay, yeah, I don't believe this guy, I'm out, and leaving, no, you have to go out of your way to put a thumbs down. I have stalkers who come to every single video for the sole purpose to put a thumbs down on my videos. Whether or not they listen, that's another issue. But I notice that YouTube is listening. Having been making some changes after I exposed them. The church likewise listens to me. The Strengthening Church Members Committee was created specifically to listen to me, to obtain my videos downloaded into my file 36434. It's a troublemaker file. I have a membership file and I have a troublemaker file. They know me. They stalk me. They claim it's to activate me, but when you're committing cyber-terroristic crimes against me because you don't agree with what I say, yeah, you're the bad guy. You falsely accuse me of being wrong, and so you justify me being wrong by committing crimes against me? There's this thing called due process, but you're a religion. I'm not committing crimes against the church, but the church is committing crimes against me. To shut me up, to silence me, to hurt me physically, to destroy, ruin, even to the point of attempting to murder me on numerous occasions. All because they disagree with me? Because I studied the church and they don't? The Strengthening Church Members Committee is reported to The first presidency in the Quorum of the 12, in case you didn't know, because a member of the 12 is a part of the group with members of the presidency of the 70. And then they have a whole crew of young'uns who know how to cyber terrorize, who download the content and watch it from beginning to end and give a full report on up the chain. And so, if we can hurry with this video, I will be able to get this video out before their meeting on Thursdays. But if not, well, if they know me, as they do, and they refuse to pay attention to every single video when it comes out, if they let me slack and go a full week before they report a previous week's video content, ooh, yeah, Nelson was an example of why you shouldn't do that. And I warned you, I had a bread dream, I had a flood dream, I had a cookie dream. I warned you. You chose to ignore me. And so when I put in every video the Revelation chapter 12 example for all Mormons to pay attention to, but you especially, Oaks, about me as the man like Moses, and you as Pharaoh, and you're saying no to let Mormons go, and you are ignoring all my 11,000 videos, huh? You think that your God is more powerful, huh? That you're in the right, I'm wrong. You're really gonna go there, huh? All right. Remember, we're in the season for the curse of Joseph Smith. And you've gone silent. You're missing. Are you alive? Are you dead? And the church is just covering it up because they know I'm right? Are you on your deathbed? Exactly. It's the curse of Joseph Smith. Hand over the church now so I can save their lives. Send that in your report, you bleepers. What is tithing for? Why does Jesus need so much money? Not just because you can't interpret the parable correctly. It's not money. It's converts, dumbasses. So, the Book of Mormon makes it very clear that money is not to be used for Zion. Talking about priestcraft, 2 Nephi chapter 26, starting in verse 29. Commanded that there should be no priestcrafts, and then defines priestcrafts for us, where leaders of a church preach and set themselves up for a light unto the world, that they may get gain and praise and honors and awards from the world. But they don't give a damn about the membership. They allow the membership to suffer. They steal from the membership to get gain. That's the welfare of Zion. The storehouses are for the membership when they are in need and for the poor. It is not to hoard for Jesus. The Lord makes this very clear in Malachi. Will a man rob God? Yet ye have robbed me. Wherein have we robbed thee? In tithes. Bring the tithing into the storehouse. That was held within the temple walls in the women's gate, just off to the right. That's where Nephi got the brass plates. That's the treasury. It's for the poor. And so then the other offerings are brought to the Holy of Holies for the latter-day supper sacrament, to remind the people of the coming of the Christ in the latter days. But the laborer in Zion, so this is a prophecy of the latter-day Zion, shall labor for Zion. A storehouse. Every member in Zion labors to fill the storehouse, doing their part with what they are able to do. For if they labor for money, they shall perish. Every single monetary system of economy that has ever been created by mankind has all failed. Because it creates poverty. By its very creation, you have now separated rich from poor. No matter how clever you think you are on your creation of an economy, whether it's communism, capitalism, barter, trade, middlemen, all the various forms of economies using money, crypto, it creates a separation from those who have and those who have not. And the worse the economy that was created with money, the greater the gap. So yeah, the one we've got right now, ooh, it is bad. So again, what does Jesus need with that money? When is Jesus coming? So that we can ask him in person. He does have a body of flesh and bone, as tangible as man, separate and distinct from Heavenly Father, right? So we can see him with our eyes? Or are you still going to claim that, nope, just like a Christian sees Jesus, we see Jesus, but our Jesus has a body of flesh and bones? But you can only see him spiritually. Are you sure you want to go there? See, I know you're a con. Mormons don't. I don't understand why Mormons don't. But nonetheless, this is the coming of the Christ. Revelation chapter 12 gives you the day and the hour. So take that, everybody who thinks that the Christian who wrote in Matthew, no man knows the day or the hour, is so true. Did you run the test from Matthew chapter 7 or the restored gospel of 3rd Nephi chapter 14? Run that test. No man knows the day or the hour. Oh, we got a day and an hour right here in Revelation chapter 12. Christians believe this is the birth of Jesus. Okay, let's run the test. A woman clothed with the sun. So back in the Roman period time, this was the middle of August to the middle of September. The moon is under her feet. Upon her head, Leo, 3 additional planets. You still listening, Augustus? Augusto? You never did name the names of the Mormons who believe this, who are leaving the rest of this out. I want their names. And so the woman is pregnant, and Saturn is an Ophiuchus, not Gemini. Okay, run the test. What is the calendar date and clock time? The day and the hour is the 23rd of September 2017. Oh crap, it's not even in the Roman period time. So it's not the birth of Jesus. Now do you understand partially why there is a major discussion over whether or not to put the book of Revelation in the Bible of Christians? It was only because of the first creed destroying all science that they thought that they had dumbed down the people sufficiently that no one would ever know. And they were right for 1700 years. Technically less than that, but the Enlightenment period, people began to resume science of astronomy and tried to figure this out, and they figured it out. And then they were using it as a weapon to destroy mankind with, and destroy Christianity. And then the Book of Mormon came to warn everybody, hey, mass extermination is coming. But Mormons don't believe, despite the exclusive nature of the Book of Mormon. So, Christians, despite now knowing that this is the 23rd of September 2017, but it came and went, no Jesus. And so people now no longer believe in this, and they create other things like, oh, this happens all the time. No, it doesn't. And so Christians don't know what to think. So they just ignore it and hope it goes away. Well, it's because it's not Jesus that it's talking about. It's talking about that Jewish Christ, that man like Moses, telling Pharaoh to let his people go, and Pharaoh saying no. That's the guy. Joseph Smith's translation says, yep, he's a Mormon. Mormons are supposed to be looking for a Mormon on this date. Did you? No? There were 40,000 of you who saw my video. Where are you? He could have put me to the test, put me in my place. Where is he, Travis? Where is this guy? It's the 23rd of September, 2017. The Relief Society is included in conference. Where is this guy? I see you've started your website along with your YouTube channel. Where is this guy who is coming to us to warn us of the latter days? Where is he, Travis? Wearing the white shirt, standing at his bedside, with his feet on the chair legs. Where is he? The bird. To all y'all disbelievers. So Christians, believing that Revelation 12 is the birth, and ignoring the other signs in the heavens with their calendar dates because nobody else can figure it out. Which is weird. The guy figures out the 23rd of September 2017, as I would go and find out when I'm checking myself, see if anybody else found it. And yet, nobody knows the rest of the others that are there. I do. I found them. Right, Nelson and Monson? See, the Strengthening Church Members Committee, and thus the corporate board, knows I know. They're the ones that shut me down from getting 40,000 ever again. So Christians now created Revelation 19's interpretation to be the date for the Armageddon second coming of Jesus, even though they say no man knows the day or the hour. They said this is it. Okay, well, it says that it's a calendar date and clock time, a day and the hour. I wonder what it could be. I wonder if, Travis, have you ever done a video on this? You failed to show the Mormon who came. Bleep you. Verses 11 and 17 specifically, but then you got to include the Lamb of God. Use the pattern set by Joseph Smith for the Spirit, seer, prophet, revelator, translator. This is a vision of the likeness of things on the earth. So we need to turn this into the sign in the heavens. I saw heaven opened, a white horse, Pegasus. On the back of Pegasus is Pisces. That is the zodiac constellation that we need to pay attention to. And somebody's sitting on him, who's faithful and true are the moments we too can share. Righteousness doth he judge and make war. His eyes are a flame of fire. Oh, the sun. Christians say it's Jesus on the back of this white horse. And I keep trying to tell you, because I guess nobody saw the movie, I liked it, especially with Anna Kendrick. Her boyfriend murdered Jesus, shot him out of the sky. I've shown you the clip. Live video footage of the murder of Jesus by ICE. Shot him in the face. Twice. Jesus is dead. ICE killed him. Stephen Colbert's meteorology report was awesome. I think it was for Monday night, or I think over the weekend, the weather report. You can find it. Go to his channel, look up the videos for this week. The one on meteorologists. Hilarious. We're gonna miss you, Stephen. I'm surprised Netflix didn't pick you up. I don't think Netflix has a late night comedy yet. So, verse 17, because the sun's up in the sky and on the back of the white horse every single year. You know, like the sun in Virgo. When it was written, it was the month before, then the month now when it is in the sun. But we know that it's now rather than then, because we ran the test. So verse 17, there's an angel standing in the sun on the back of the white horse. My sign, the moon standing in the sun for Amen El. A solar eclipse casting my shadow on the earth. For he who is from the crossroads of the Wagoner's sun god at noonday. In case you didn't know, this prophecy goes way back. That one is a lunar eclipse. They all knew. But so did Joseph Smith. So, with the solar eclipse on the back of the white horse Pegasus in Pisces, with Jupiter in Aries, the Ram Lamb constellation, yeah, 8 April 2024. And I've been trying to explain the 600 years from the time Lehi left Jerusalem in 597 BCE, which is 4 CE, because there's no 0 year. There was an annular eclipse over Russia, north of Jerusalem, on 8 April 4 CE. 2020 years exactly before. Exodus 2020. Remember, man like Moses? What happens? Exodus. The Book of Mormon gave you the date of the Exodus. Multiple times. And you're not listening. So, when I tell you about OAKS getting leaked, about Armageddon in 2020, this is what I'm talking about. You know, I understand you guys don't have associative memory, but how well are you with memorization? You did get A's in class, didn't you, for memorization? Because I don't think you guys are young to where it was changed to the pass-fail grade. You participated by coming to school Here you go. Here's your diploma. Welcome to the career world. My psychologist says I need an emotional support animal and more drugs. I'm disabled because I get stressed when I go to work. You have to pay me for my disability. I have to take time off because I'm disabled. My psychologist said so. They came from Nazi Germany and they're thanking their American liberators ever since. This is not the end of the world. What the bleeping hell? The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, instead of following their 200-year-old plot to coordinate with the signs in the heavens, instead changed to run a test that year. I was on the top of my game. Not as much as last year into this year. Right now, oh, you're dead, huh? And I called out the very day and hour of your death, even the very minute and second. Oops. And you're still not listening to me, huh, Oaks? You still don't believe, you're still in defiance, huh? Because your God is so true. And you haven't caught on yet that you're never gonna see him? Because if you ain't seeing Jesus, you ain't seeing Lucifer either. It's that voice in your head, Oaks. So what the hell is wrong with you, other than the tardive dyskinesia from the psychotropic drugs from psychologists? And so the test run instead for the second coming of Jesus, when Jesus didn't show on the calendar date and clock time given for him to show. That we do know the day and the hour of his coming, and Jesus didn't show. But that Mormon showed. Who is he, Travis? Tell us so that we may know him, and then murder him. Prove the church is true. Do not get this yet. There is no Jesus. Jesus failed to show. What is the money for? Because technically it's for the Mormon who comes. And they ain't giving it to him because they know exactly who he is. He has demonstrated the gifts of the Spirit. That's why they're pissed with him. Because they ain't got him. It's their official statement that they deny them. And along he comes. Here I am. Church is so true. Joseph Smith has the Spirit. Book of Mormon is true. Death. Death to the seer. We've got our tiki torches and we're gonna burn you. They know, and they're refusing to let Mormons go to save Mormon lives. They knew because they're involved in causing the problems. And they won't stop. They won't Let Mormons go free to build Zion, to escape the coming wrath. It takes time for the transfer to be made. It takes time to set up and prepare for the gathering of Mormons to one location on earth. It takes time for the gathering. It takes time to then build Zion, to get Mormons in their inheritance. And we're late? We are warned not to rush Zion. Not just because of the bugs. You have to know the scripture I'm referring to. What are they waiting for other than to destroy the economy? Because that's what's going to happen during Armageddon. It's going to render the economies of the world worthless. No monetary system of economy will be worth anything. It will be rendered a barter and trade system, an extortion racket system, a sex for life system, a survival of the fittest system. Are you sure you want to live that kind of life? Rather than living in peace, safety, and refuge in Zion? Because they ain't gonna do it for you. If you're still waiting for Jesus, having never even bothered to check what these astronomical dates are in Revelation, you're in for a big disappointment, because that's their whole intention, is to destroy Christianity, to get you all hyped up that Jesus is coming and then let you down, because the devil never supports his own. You knew the snake would bite you when you let him in, and you let him bite you. When's it gonna click in your brains, Mormons? There is no Jesus. He ain't coming. It's the Mormon you're supposed to be looking for. Where is he? Tell us now, Travis. No. His identity is being kept secret, like Idaho chicks. And the anonymous Mormon. And Trialed Faith. And Stanford. Using code names. Alrighty. I just shake my head. Shake my head. But don't shake the baby. Don't do it. So where is this seat? Yeah, this is it. So yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene got more popular with her comment than I had already told you long ago. That Trump, for the second coming, is intentionally trying to incite civil war. He wants others to cause it, even though he's causing it, but for people to defend themselves physically. None of this peaceful protesting crap that he'll just keep murdering you for. He ain't gonna stop like the Lamanites stopped for murdering their own kind, the women and children. If you remember that story in your Book of Mormon. Now, defending America. Trump wants Americans to rise up and take back America so that Trump can then justify calling you insurrectionists and slaughtering you. Civil war. It's all right there in the Book of Mormon. Because in case you hadn't caught on, 3rd Nephi chapter 11, yeah, that's Revelation 19. It's just Jesus isn't on the white horse. And so thus 3rd Nephi 7 is 4 years earlier, and ta-da, 2020. And a test run? Oh my hell. Bleeping test run. Such incompetence, Oaks. You guys are nothing but losers, having failed for 200 years in planning, and you failed. Just hand it over. Dear God. Just hand it over. You know, maybe the Deutsche Bank money will be left out. You didn't put more than trillions in there, did you? You have other offshore bank accounts, right? You didn't put them in all one offshore bank account? That would have been stupid of you, as you clearly indicate that you spread it out as much as possible for everything. Dear God. But yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene says that Trump was using Minnesota specifically to incite civil war. He declared war. We're already in it. But Americans are not getting a backbone and a spine to stand up and fight for their rights, to fight for their freedom, to fight for their lives, to fight for their families, to fight for their land and their homes and inheritance, and fight to be free. Instead, they're peacefully protesting to get slaughtered. How is that going to work when you're all dead? Oh, they peacefully protested. Wait, who's writing this history? Oh, the winner? The one who murdered you? So yeah, I'm sure he's going to say, yeah, these peaceful protesters lost their lives as martyrs to America. Nope, it's going to be these insurrectionist dogs died. We conquered them and made America great again. That's how it's going to be written. Because you didn't stand up and fight for America. That's why we need to save mankind in Zion. And it takes time. So, that's pretty much it. Pretty much it. We're in the lull period before the storm again rises, according to the pattern of practice of Trump.